Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Clay and I think AKs are pretty neat. If you're new to this channel, I have been enjoying AKs for half my life and I've really been collecting, competing, and shooting with them at a serious level for well over 10 years. And during that time, I've made a lot of mistakes due to lack of knowledge. And I constantly see, even today, so many people get into this platform and make the same mistakes, the same poor choices. And unfortunately, sometimes that can have a negative effect on how people enjoy the platform. Some people have a preconceived notion that AKs suck, they're poorly built or whatever because they really just don't understand it. And that's okay because AKs are a deep, dark rabbit hole, the deepest, darkest rabbit hole in the gun industry. And there's too much to know. You're never going to know everything. And if you're just getting into them, you're really not going to know what the hell you're doing. So I hope this video helps alleviate some of that pain and will help you make better choices and just enjoy the platform easier, earlier than I did, having to suffer through it back before all this stuff was on the internet. Today, let's talk about the top 10 things to never do when it comes to AKs. Number 1, never modify it before you shoot it. This mainly goes for you new guys that are getting your first AK or you're just learning the platform. Here's an example. You wouldn't learn how to drive on a heavily modified race car. You wouldn't learn how to drive on a heavily fortified tank or like a military grade vehicle. Most people would learn how to drive on a practical vehicle, pretty bone stock. That's the way most of us learned. And then eventually you build up to all the other stuff. AKs are so different than what you're probably used to. You should absolutely learn the bare minimum. Very different safety, very different cheek weld. The iron sights are wildly different. Zeroing your iron sights, the tool that you use to zero those iron sights are very different than AR-15s, which is what most people are going to come off of. The grip feels different. The rock and lock mags are different. The whole thing's different. If you give yourself a good baseline of getting pretty good with a bone stock factory, I'm talking an AKM with wood furniture on irons, start there. As you modify it from there on out, it'll feel like you're using training wheels even after the fact. Everything will start to feel easier. How do you even know what optic, what aftermarket grip, what trigger, what muzzle brake you want if you don't even know how the factory gun affects your style of shooting so that you can build on it? Learn the basics before you spend needless money on parts that you think you might need or parts that you think honestly just looked cool and that's why you bought them in the first place. This will save you a huge pile of senseless crap like I have on my shelf worth hundreds of dollars that you never install ever again. Start from the bottom, work your way to the top the right way. Number 2, never buy parts without knowing what spec AK you have, specifically what pattern AK you have. There's really 3 big patterns that you need to be mindful of. AKM pattern, Yugo pattern, which is very popular now, and milled, most people would say like type 3 pattern. Milled being all of your like SAM 7s from Arsenal, most people are familiar with those. Yugo being your M70s, your M90s, AKM being just about everything else. The majority of what you find out there is going to be AKM spec, but now Yugo AKs are extremely popular in this country. A lot of people are buying them and they have no clue that a lot of parts that came before that gun was imported don't work. You can't put AKM parts on a Yugo pattern AK and vice versa. And there's even some type 3 or milled AK parts that will not work on either of them. So before you buy a part that you think looks cool or whatever, you buy that one Krebs safety that you've always wanted, you have to absolutely check the compatibility specs on the part before you buy it. And you have to know what pattern AK you have before you do any of this. I can't tell you how many times people will tell me like, hey, this thing won't fit on my M70. And I say, hey, you bought an AKM scope mount that will not work on your Yugo pattern AK. And they're always scratching their head going, I thought an AK is an AK is an AK. I didn't know there are all these different patterns. There are. Once you kind of start to understand it, it's not that big a deal, but you can absolutely get bitten if you buy a Yugo pattern part for your AKM. It's not going to fit. Now you know. Absolutely check compatibility before you buy stuff. Number 3, this one's for Bubba. Never permanently modify your AK unless you know that there's no going back. What do you mean there's no going back? This isn't an AR-15. AKs are put together with old technology. Parts are riveted in place. Your barrel components are pressed fit and pinned in place. What I mean is there are aftermarket parts out there that you might really want. Some of them require you to actually chop pieces off of your AK to fully install. Brownells has a video, for instance, where they have a very nice original barrel Bulgarian 74 kit that they, on camera, chop the tang off to put an M4 stock on, or whatever the hell it was. Doesn't matter. They've just permanently modified that gun that can now never put its factory furniture back on, and they've also destroyed the value of the gun. There are some aftermarket parts out there that actually require you to cut your sling loop off. Some, like the Magpul MOE, actually require you to cut your lower handguard retainer completely off the barrel. This means your gun has not only destroyed its value, but you can never go back to stock. And here's the thing. I've been into AKs for a long time. My interests change all the time. I like factory guns. I like modified guns. I like combinations of the two. If I have a gun that I've chopped parts off of, it can never go back to stock. My only option are to find replacement parts, send that thing to a gunsmith, wait for months, pay hundreds of dollars just to get it back to factory stock and to get all my value back. So if you were to ask me, is it worth aftermarket to get any extra ounce of capability out of my gun? Is it worth cutting parts off? I say no. Don't do it. There's plenty of aftermarket builders and manufacturers out there that have figured out ways to bolt stuff to your gun without permanently modifying it. If you want to, that's fine. It's your gun. Just know what you're getting yourself into. Now that we've talked the Dremel out of Bubba's hands, let me tell you about the largest AK gathering in the country. Kalash Bash, Texas is happening April 2026. Ticket link is in the description down below. We have a prize table now valuing at $120,000 of guns, ammo, and accessories that is available for anyone to win. Our match is going to sell out day one, but here's the thing. Over 750 of our tickets are general admission. There is literally too much to do. We have 60 to 100 vendors all waiting for you to come to their booths and shoot their guns, shoot their ammo, and win their stuff. We have a campsite. We have a bonfire. We have a concert planned for you guys, totally free of charge. Anyone can come to the concert. We have food, bathrooms, scavenger hunts, and so many side quests to eat up every ounce of your time at KB. There's literally not enough time to do everything. Finally, AK people have a place to come and have a good time. This is not some bullshit after party that only influencers are invited to at SHOT Show. This is for you guys. I'll see you there. Number 4, never throw away your original parts. This is mainly your stock sets, parts like your safety lever, triggers, grip screws, T-nuts. These are common parts people will switch out for aftermarket, which is totally cool, but a lot of times people will sell off those parts, lose them, God forbid throw away, but it can happen. And goes without saying, if your gun is an import, this really doesn't matter if it's an American-made AK. I don't really see those things ever gaining value over time, but mainly your imports. To not have those factory original parts means your gun will never really have its full potential to have value. 10 years from now, all of those imports will be worth more money. They'll be more rare. Some of them might be banned from import. So to have those factory parts means that your gun could originally be put back together and could potentially be worth quite a bit of money. A lot of AK parts are serialized. Certainly if it came out of a kit or from like Bulgaria, Romania, places like that serialized a lot of that stuff. AKs are expensive now. It's not like it was 20, 30 years ago. They're expensive, they're collectible, they're worth a lot of money in some cases. They're never gonna be worth the most amount of money if they don't have those original parts. So please don't make mistakes I've made. Don't sell, lose, or throw away factory original parts for your imported AKs. Number 5, never suppress your AK without checking it with an alignment rod first. AKs are kind of notorious for having bad concentricity with their threads and their bores. Can be a multitude of things that cause this. It's just the way that they're built. Seems to be a bigger problem with imported AKs. It seems like a lot of the American AKs have it down to where their concentricity is pretty good. However, just the way AKs are made, you should always check it. Cans are too expensive and they're too hard to get and replace. To put one on your gun, to throw your friggin' Sandman on your Draco and blast the end cap off. I've definitely done it before because I too didn't really know back in the day that AKs have pretty bad bore concentricity. Not all of them. It's kind of a roll of the dice. I wish it weren't that way, but it is. So without going on and on, alignment rods are not cheap, but they're worth their weight in gold if it comes to suppressing your AK. Suppressing AKs is amazing. I love it. But unfortunately, you always have to check them. And some AKs are just too bad to suppress. Number 6, never use the cheapest or most convenient gunsmith to work on your AK. What I mean is, don't use the guy that needs business so bad that they're willing to undercut everyone's prices and say that they can do it in a tenth of the time just to get your business. You typically will have a bad time. Don't use the guy that's just a mile down your road that works at a local gun shop because it's too inconvenient to ship your gun to someone that knows what they're doing. Don't be that guy. You're always going to have a bad time if you don't seek out the best AK Smith that you can afford at that time. Building AKs is not AR-15s. There's a lot of self-proclaimed gunsmiths that have never touched an AK before, but because they consider themselves a gunsmith, they think they're up for the challenge, and they are not. AKs take a lot of knowledge and a lot of special tooling to work on or build properly, so that if you don't seek out a guy that has all that stuff or has all that knowledge, they are not going to do a good job. They are going to, in fact, destroy your gun, and it happens all the time, even today, when there are so many good qualified gunsmiths, AK Smiths I should say, that have good reputations. Still to this day, people don't want to mail guns, they don't want to pay what it costs, and they don't want to wait the amount of time that it takes for one of those guys to do a good job. They let Bubba down the road do a bad job and destroy their gun, and now they've spent money and they've wasted time that they could have spent on someone that actually would have done a good job, that knows what they're doing. Number 7, never shoot corrosive ammo without cleaning your gun right afterwards. As you start to get into AKs, you're probably going to end up buying old steel case surplus ammo, all the 5.45, the 7.62, still out there. It's available. It's usually more affordable than the newly produced stuff. A lot of that stuff is corrosive, and unfortunately, a lot of it's in unmarked boxes, so you might not even know that you're shooting corrosive ammo until 5 days later. You didn't clean your gun. It's got a lot of really aggressive rust, and you might even get some pitting in the barrel or anywhere on the gun that's not chrome lined. That's why AKs have chrome lining, for that reason. But it's not a huge deal. The majority of ammo available today is not corrosive at all, but still, there's so much of that surplus still circulating on the used market. You may come across it. You shouldn't avoid it. AKs have been shooting surplus for decades. They can definitely take it if cleaned properly. Just be cautious. All right, I think I saved the best 3 for last. Kind of spicy, might make some people mad, but let's go ahead and get into it. Number 8, never buy a 5.45 AK in the year 2025. This is a timing thing, man. Maybe things will get better, but as of right now, you really should not be looking into 5.45 AKs. If you do shoot one, you're going to end up loving it because it's awesome. It really is an amazing caliber. It's an amazing shooting round. It's accurate. It's badass. Everything about it's great, other than availability and price, and it's only going to get worse. Even if some people would consider it kind of okay right now, it will not be kind of okay in a year. In 2 years, it's going to be bad. If you are just now trying to get into AKs and you're wondering, what caliber should I go with? I feel like everyone's first AK should be the AK of all time. It should be in 7.62 by 3.9. It is the AK caliber of all time. Tons of mags, still tons of ammo. It's still all relatively cheap. There's so many options and AKs to go with in that caliber. Next up, certainly if you're going to get into comp shooting, or if you just want to shoot a lot and own an AK the easiest way, 5.56, man. I'm here to tell you that 5.56 AKs are probably the biggest reason most people even care about AKs today, because we're not in the best of times. So buy a 5.56 AK, buy a 7.62 AK if you really want to enjoy them. Do not get into 5.45 right now. Number 9, never treat your AK the way you treat your AR. What I mean is, everything you do on an AR-15, everything you've learned about shooting an AR-15 does not apply to an AK. AKs are different. They're just built different. The people that design them are built different. The way you should run an AK is different compared to how you run your AR-15. I've got plenty of training videos explaining why this is, but you have to understand, AKs are different, man. The safety, the way the trigger feels, the way you zero it, the way you adjust zero, the trajectory of the round, the stance, the cheek weld, the way you mount optics, everything is so different than everything you know about AR-15s. You have to forget what you thought you know about shooting and relearn when you pick up an AK. When you pick one up and you think you're a good shooter because you shoot AR-15s kind of good, AKs are going to make you look like a bad shooter. So many people pick them up, they get agitated about the safety, they complain about the recoil, they have no idea how to get their head low enough to use the iron sights. They think it's a trash gun when it's really just them. They don't know what they're doing because AR-15 techniques and skill do not apply to the AK. So, I've got plenty of videos on the topic. Feel free to go check them out, my How to AK series. don't treat your AK like an AR. It's not. It's actually better. Okay, I saved the best for last, and this is something echoed by anyone that has an AK channel. Number 10, don't take AK advice from AR guys. Moreover, don't take AK advice from people that just don't know shit about AKs, because as I said earlier in this video, there's so much to know. Even people like me that eat, sleep, and breathe them don't even know the half of it. So how the hell could you expect someone that all they shoot are AR-15s or any other non-AK, how could you expect them to know anything about such a wildly different platform that is so multifaceted? Here's an example. Lucas Botkin, right? Nothing against the guy. I think most people would consider him one of the leading voices in like defensive and tactical shooting. Literally out loud said, "You can't zero an AK" to all of his followers. I mean, this is Lucas Botkin we're talking about. A lot of people look up to the guy, and the dude literally thought AKs were just zeroed from the factory, and that's it. Like, there's no changing that. He had no clue. The GBRS group, right? Just did a video on Dracos not too long ago that was pretty cringy to watch, and what sucks is these are legit dudes that know what they're doing on M4s, like probably more than just about anyone. You put an AK in their hands and they looked like a fish out of water. It looked very unnatural, and they had to literally read the side of the receiver just to remind themselves on camera what the hell they were even reviewing. And it's not just the guys that are trying to show you how to run AKs. Just your basic gun channels that do reviews, you can tell when they get some random PSA 103 or Zastava sent them an M70 in the mail and they got to do a review on it. You can always tell when they are completely out of their element and they just don't know what they don't know when it comes to the platform. And it always comes off as a little forced and just straight up like an ad, and they're basically reading what's written on the box. These are not the resources that you should be going to if you truly want to learn more about the platform, because there is too much stuff to know about these guns. A channel like that cannot just read a Wikipedia bio about an AKM and tell you anything of value in a 10-minute video. But you're in luck. There are some really good resources on the internet from people that have taken quite a lot of time to learn the platform, or people in other countries like Polnar Tactical, where that's just the gun that they grew up with and they know everything about it and they run it very well. It's second nature to them. There are people like Mishiko that have forgotten more about AKs and importation than anyone could ever hope to learn on any YouTube channel. People like that are who you should be trusting your time with. Guys like A Regular Guy Training, very, very good with AKs, has taken a lot of time and offers classes. Center T, mentioned in this video, they have a YouTube channel. Awesome source to learn how to run an AK. I could go on and on and on. I'll try to remember to make a short list of people that I really like in the comment section down below that I think make genuinely good content about AKs that is educational and that comes from experience and a lot of time invested. If you don't see it in the comments, light me up and remind me to make that in the comments. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. I don't want to sound bitter. I just want to tell you that there's just a lot of bad info out there, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistakes I've made over the years, which is why I made this whole video on 10 things that you should never do when it comes to AKs. I hope you learned something. If there's anything of value that you, the viewer that's educated, can list in the comments, something I didn't think about, by all means, list it. I'll pin it. Let's try to help this new community get into AKs easier than we had it back in the day when we didn't have resources like this. All right. Love everybody. Come to Kalash Bash. Have a good time with your friends. If you want to support me, I don't do Patreon. I don't want your money. And I'm not going to read paid ad reads from Leviathan about ball sack razors, but I do make hats and t-shirts. If you want to wear one, that's awesome. I love seeing them out in public. I'll put that link in the description below. I just appreciate you all watching, and I really, really hope to see you guys and gals come to Kalash Bash, get off the couch, touch some grass, and be a part of the real AK community in person. That's all I have for you. Love you, bye.